Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are cracking the code on success for ambitious aesthetic medicine practitioners who are looking to launch and scale their new clinics.
And this is such a crucial area. We're really trying to move the conversation beyond just clinical technique and into the cold, hard science of what actually builds business momentum.
We are dissecting some really powerful insights today, and they're derived from Formule Barabasi, Les Lois du Succès Esthétique, which is based on a masterclass by Dr. Ari Masudi.
Right.
For anyone who doesn't know him, Masudi has this incredible background. He's a molecular biologist, a former researcher in regenerative medicine, who then made this really strategic pivot.
A huge pivot. He became a science tech business consultant,
Yep.
but specifically for the beauty world.
Exactly. And what he did was he essentially translated these universal laws of success from Harvard physicist Dr. Albert Laszlo Barabasi,
Guy known for network science, yeah.
and applied them directly to the unique challenges you face when you're building an aesthetic practice.
So our mission here is to really get into this core truth, and it can be a little uncomfortable,
It is.
which is that being great clinically, well, that alone isn't the guarantee you think it is.
You might be the best injector in your entire city, but if your clinic is struggling, it's probably because you missed a critical part of the formula.
And it is a formula. Barabasi's work looked at millions of data points, careers, patents, you name it, and found success isn't random. It follows these predictable, almost mathematical laws.
So we're going to walk through the 4 factors that define that formula. It's your clinical skills times your network times your consistency plus strategic positioning.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack that. Law number 1, performance matters, but networks decide your success. I think this one is maybe the hardest for a highly trained practitioner to accept.
It is because medical training just drills perfection in you, technical perfection. But the reality is that your skill is really just the barrier to entry. It's the good enough point.
The competence threshold.
Exactly. Once you're there, which most licensed practitioners are, getting another 5% better at your technique gives you diminishing returns. Your success then shifts almost entirely to your network.
And you can see this so clearly in the costs. We see practitioners spending a fortune on Facebook and Instagram ads.
What's fortune?
One recent study showed that getting a new patient through digital ads costs, between $400 and $800 per patient?
I mean, that's a massive spend. Now, compare that to a referral. A referred patient costs you basically nothing to acquire, and they convert at 3 times the rate of a cold lead.
The math just doesn't lie.
It doesn't. Your network is infinitely more leveraged than your ad budget once you're clinically competent.
So if I'm a new clinic owner, you're saying I should maybe stop taking that weekend anatomy workshop and instead spend, say, 60% of my time networking. Doesn't that risk clinical quality?
No, because you should have already hit that competence threshold. That 60% of your time needs to be strategic. It's about connecting, not pitching. Masudi suggests this really structured approach. You need 3 lists. First, your existing relationships. Second, your target connectors, people who are hubs.
Like who?
Think high-end dermatologists, luxury gym owners, maybe wedding planners. And third, your influential patients, local real estate agents, stylists, that kind of thing.
This is where that hubs concept is so important. Instead of, firing off 100 random emails, you focus on one key person. Tell me about that wedding planner idea.
Okay, think about a wedding planner who coordinates, say, 50 high-budget weddings a year.
Right.
That one person is a nexus of patients aged 25 to 45 who care deeply about how they're going to look. If you can build a relationship there, it's worth more than 100 Instagram ads.
That totally reframes networking. It's not a chore, it's a high leverage move. So what's a practical first step? The pre-launch coffee tactic.
It's so effective. 3 months before you even open, schedule 20 coffee meetings. And the goal is not to pitch them. It's to ask about their work, to genuinely offer them value first.
I think we saw an example of a practitioner in Miami who did this.
She did it exclusively. She got her first 50 patients, all high value, just by building relationships with yoga studio owners and bridal boutiques. No ads, just trust.
And that's pure momentum. Then once you open, you have to formalize that into a referral flywheel.
Precisely. You need a formal program, like a $50 credit for both people. But more importantly, you have to personally thank your top referrers. A little handwritten note goes a long, long way.
Okay, so if the network gets you in the door, Law 2 tells us what happens when clinical skills start to plateau. This is, performance has limits, but success doesn't.
Right, this is the winner-takes-all pattern. It's a paradox, really. The skill difference between a wildly successful practitioner and a struggling one might be tiny, maybe 5 or 10%.
But the revenue difference can be 10 times greater.
Exactly. And the data on this is it's astonishing.
Hey, what does it show?
Research shows the top 10% of injectors account for 47% of all Botox and filler sales, almost half. And when you look at their patient satisfaction scores, they're only marginally better on clinical outcomes than the next group down.
So, If clinical skill is basically a given across the board, success has to be built on those other things, the intangibles.
It has to be. It's about perception and experience. Patient satisfaction actually correlates more strongly with the quality of the communication, feeling heard, than with the tiny details of how the neurotoxins settled.
So you have to differentiate the process, not just the result.
That's the key. This is where practitioners have to stop being so generic. You need a signature.
Absolutely. Like, develop a signature consultation. I heard about one practitioner who uses an iPad to sketch out the treatment plan, showing the patient their journey visually.
And that transforms it from just a Q&A into like a collaborative session. Brilliant.
And then there's building your personal brand, positioning yourself as the natural enhancement specialist or the artistic injector. That's what cuts through the noise.
It does. And you could even use psychology, like mastering timing. It's called recency bias. Patients who consult with you last are statistically more likely to book with you.
So you actively encourage them to see other people first.
Yes. For a complex case, you say, go see the other providers first, get your questions together, and then let's meet again to finalize your plan. It positions you as the ultimate confident authority.
That is a masterclass in positioning right there.
Well,
And we also have to talk about leveraging small wins to fuel all this.
small wins are essential because they make your intangible excellence visible. Think about content. There was that one practitioner whose single TikTok video, it's just a really natural-looking preventative Botox result.
And it went viral.
It brought in over 200 consultation requests in a week. That's a huge boost from one small, visible win.
So the big takeaway for Law 2 is specialization. If everyone is offering the same thing, you get stuck.
You have to find your edge. Don't just compete on everything. Become the go-to for chin sculpting or male injectables. That's what moves you from just being good to being sought after.
And that focus leads us right into law number 3. Past success multiplied by quality equals future success. It's all about that compounding effect.
This is Verabasi's concept of preferential attachment. It's human nature. We gravitate toward what's already popular. So when you're launching, those first 20 patients aren't just income.
There's social proof.
They're social proof. And that initial momentum basically dictates your entire future.
The data here it's pretty stark. A 2024 study found that clinics booking 20 or more patients in their first month had a 92% survival rate after 2 years.
92%. Now, compare that to the clinics that booked fewer than 10. Their survival rate dropped to just 34%.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
So that first month is less about profit and more about establishing that gravitational pull for the long term.
So you have to engineer that first wave. You can't just launch cold and hope. What are the tactics?
Never launch cold.
Oh.
You need a VIP preview event a couple of months before you open. Build an email list with a simple landing page. Partner with a local influencer for your launch.
What about pricing? A lot of people panic and they just launch cheap to get those first bodies in the door.
And that's a huge mistake. It signals low quality. The advice is to price at the market rate, but then offer exceptional value.
Like what?
Maybe free high-end skincare or just longer, more detailed appointments. There was one clinic that offered 40% off, but only for the first 100 patients who agreed to provide detailed reviews and before and afters.
That's smart. They traded a discount for visibility.
Exactly. It's that combination.
Yeah.
Mediocre results that are promoted intelligently will always beat exceptional results that nobody ever sees. You have to invest in professional photos. That first month, that $500 or $1,000 for a photographer is non-negotiable.
And then you activate those first advocates, right? The handwritten thank you notes, maybe a private founding patients community.
Yes, because if the quality for that first group is exceptional, you'll find that referrals can account for 40 to 60% of your new bookings after just 6 months.
That compounding success really relies on seamless delivery, which brings us to law number 4. Teams win, but leaders get the credit.
This is the hard truth of running a practice. You could do the most perfect injection of your career, but one rude front desk coordinator can erase all of it.
The patient attributes everything, good and bad, to the leader.
Everything. So when you build your team, the key is complementarity. Don't build a clone army of people just like you.
You need balance.
Yes. Pair a reserved technical practitioner with an outgoing, organized front desk person. Complementary skills have to come before just hiring your friends.
And you need operational discipline to keep everyone on the same page. Those little rituals, like a 15-minute morning huddle.
Research actually shows that kind of casual, consistent interaction boosts team performance by 20 to 30%. You have to share credit internally, but strategically position the leader externally.
And that ties back to the leader's time. You need to be doing the consultation, the complex cases, and delegating everything else. So why is handing things off so important here?
Because the leader's time is worth $300 or more an hour when they're with a patient. You simply cannot afford to spend that time on scheduling or inventory. Delegation isn't a luxury, it's a financial necessity.
We should also touch on the dynamic the source brings up around gender and credit.
That's right. Statistically, something like 73% of aesthetic practitioners are women, but ownership and industry visibility, that tends to skew male.
So female practitioners have to be more deliberate.
They have to actively fight that assumption that they're just an employee. That means documenting your innovations, speaking at events, really pursuing those leadership roles so you're seen as the expert, not just the nurse at Dr. X's clinic.
Okay, finally, for anyone feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this, law number 5 is reassuring. With persistence, success can come at any time.
Absolutely. The market is not saturated. This industry is projected to hit $25 billion by 2028. It's not too late. Barabasi's research found that success isn't just for young prodigies. It can happen at any stage as long as you maintain consistent output.
Every treatment, every social media post is a lottery ticket.
Exactly. And this gets into the idea of your Q factor.
Right. Explain that.
Your Q factor is your innate ability to turn ideas into success. So if you're a clinical genius, but you're terrible at making content, you are wasting lottery tickets trying to be a TikTok star.
You have to hire for your weakness.
You have to. Hire a content manager and you double down on your critical strengths.
And it helps to understand this is a long game, that there are stages of maturity for a practice.
Right. You can't expect to be in optimization mode in month 1. The first year is survival mode, years 2 and 3 are growth mode, then you get to optimization, and then finally, legacy mode. Knowing that prevents burnout.
It's the difference between being productive and just being busy.
Totally. 3 excellent, thoughtful consultations are so much better than 8 rushed ones. 2 strategic networking coffees beat 10 random meetings. It's about focus.
And what are the key indicators to celebrate? Those small, predictive wins.
Tracking rebooking rates is huge. We found patients who rebook within 90 days have a 73% lifetime retention rate. That's a huge predictor. And finally, just keep evolving. You have to attend at least 2 conferences a year, 1 clinical, 1 business.
Okay, let's synthesize this one last time. Success in this field. It's not a pure meritocracy. Competence is just the price of admission. The real formula is your clinical skills X, your network X, your consistency, plus strategic positioning, success.
And your single most critical metric right now is to engineer that initial success. You have to focus everything on getting 20 or more patients in that first month to hit that 92% survival rate.
So your 90-day plan is all about that. Month 1, build the foundation, your 100 contacts, your content, your referral program. Month 2, generate momentum, those 20 coffee meetings, the founding patients program. And month 3 is the launch, hitting that 30-plus patient goal and obsessively documenting everything.
Remember, success here isn't about being marginally better with a needle. It's about being good enough clinically while being truly exceptional at relationships, positioning, and persistence.
So we've seen that the top 10% of injectors account for nearly half of all sales by only tiny different skills. So the question for you to think about is, what is one non-clinical factor you prioritize? Network building or defining your specialized positioning to move yourself out of that performance parity winner